I told my boyfriend that his masculinity was fragile after he refused to buy me pads. My boyfriend Cole and I had been together for 3 years when everything fell apart. We moved in together after college and had this comfortable routine going. Everything seemed fine on the surface. But there was always this weird tension around anything period related. He'd get uncomfortable if I mentioned cramps around his friends. If a tampon commercial came on TV, he'd immediately change the channel. Once, I asked him to grab my heating pad during movie night, and he waited until his friends left the room to get it. I thought he'd grow out of it. Then 3 weeks ago happened. We were at his best friend Derek's apartment for Sunday football. Big game, all his college friends were there. I'd been there for about 2 hours when my period started early. Really early. I had maybe 30 minutes before this became a serious problem. The nearest drugstore was 2 blocks away. I pulled Cole aside in the kitchen. Can you run to CVS real quick? I need pads. It'll take 5 minutes. He looked at the TV where kickoff was happening. Can it wait until halftime? Cole, no, I need them now. It's 2 blocks. Ask Derek's girlfriend. Vanessa left an hour ago. Can you just hold it or something until halftime? I almost laughed because surely he was joking. He wasn't. That's not how periods work. I need you to go now, or I'm going to bleed through my jeans in front of all your friends. His face went red. Jesus, don't say it like that. Why didn't you bring supplies? Because I wasn't supposed to start until next week. One of his friends yelled his name. He glanced back, then at me, and I saw him weigh the options. Just wait until halftime. You're being dramatic. It's not that urgent. I stood there while my boyfriend of 3 years chose football over a genuine emergency. I texted Derek's roommate's girlfriend Hannah, who I'd met once. She barely knew me. She brought me supplies within 20 minutes, left her own plans to help a near stranger. Cole didn't even notice until halftime. When he found me, he seemed annoyed I wasn't watching the game. The ride home was silent. At our apartment, I tried to talk to him about how humiliated I felt. He shrugged. You made it into a bigger deal than it needed to be. Hannah helped you, so I don't see the problem. The problem is you chose a football game over helping me. I wasn't going to miss kickoff for tampons, pads, and yes, you should have. Why? So your period could be more important than something I actually care about? That sentence hung in the air. It's embarrassing buying that stuff. I'm not doing it in front of my friends, so your image matters more than me bleeding through my clothes? Stop being so dramatic. For the next week, things were tense. I started noticing other things. He refused to carry my purse even in empty parking lots. He got weird when I earned more than him last quarter. When a waiter assumed I was paying for dinner, he was moody all night. The breaking point came when a pad commercial came on TV and he grabbed the remote. I stopped him. Why does this bother you so much? It doesn't. Cole, you can't even watch a commercial because it's gross. I don't want to think about that stuff. I turned off the TV. You know what's gross? Sitting at your friend's apartment bleeding through your jeans because your boyfriend cares more about football than basic human decency. Are you ever going to let this go? Your masculinity is so fragile that you can't handle buying pads, talking about periods, or even watching a commercial. His face went red. My masculinity isn't fragile. I just have standards. Standards? You abandoned me during an emergency because you were worried about looking unmanly in front of Derek. I don't want to be the guy buying tampons while my friends watch the game. That's self-respect. Buying pads doesn't threaten your masculinity unless it was already fragile. I didn't back down. I told him if he couldn't handle dating someone who menstruates, he had bigger problems. He accused me of trying to emasculate him. I told him he was already doing a great job of that himself. He left that night and came back 2 days later for his stuff, left his key on the kitchen table, and walked out.